So we recently watched Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes in IMAX. Oh shit! This one was special. I want you to take this one, Squeedo. Let's start with how you felt. Set the scene for us. Go ahead.
I thought Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes was a banger.
Banger!
It was a banger of a movie.
Banger!
It's a great fucking movie. Let's get the obvious point out the way. The CGI. Fucking phenomenal.
The best. Avatar, eat your heart out. I don't care.
Dude, it looks so good. Like, the apes look real.
Bro, no.
Real,
what
bro.
was crazy for me is those close-up shots. Like, for example, when an ape is being choked and, like, they have the camera really close. Usually those shots don't look good. But they look real here, bro. Oh, my God. It's a...
All the little facial details and everything.
Oh, yeah.
Like, little twitches and quirks that the characters have. You can see it. You can see it, bro.
Let me set the scene a little bit. So me and Dorian, we spend the day. We go to CC's Pizza. We eat our fucking hearts out, and then we go over, and then we go over to the theater, and we go in there, and we go straight into the IMAX. They don't even check your tickets, which is wild. We go straight into the IMAX, and we're sitting there in the middle of it all. We're looking around this big ass theater with the big speakers, and the movie starts, and it's just immersion right from the beginning. They start with the apes. You don't really need a human to tether yourself down to here. Mm-hmm. You kind of tether yourself to the apes really well. They start off with 3 friend apes that they're hunting for eggs because hunting season's coming around and they need their bird or whatever. So they're going through, they're getting the fucking eggs, and the ambiance, the feel of the movie already is just so strong. You're in this universe, you're immersed. You don't have any problems getting fully immersed in this movie. I want to point that out. Mm-hmm. They grab your attention like that immediately. So I want to give that credit to this movie. We have criticisms. We'll save it for the end. But just crazy positive start and the building of the tribe, like all the characters of the tribe, and you're seeing a mother figure, you're seeing the main character's mother figure, father figure, his best friends, and you really get to feel the tribe that they're in, and like kind of understand the dynamics of it, their small world. It's just it's a crazy start. It's a good start. It's the music in this beginning part's also really well constructed.
Oh yeah, the whole movie really.
Yeah,
the music is so good.
Just crazy good. All right, so come on, so let me break it down a little bit. So we get to the beginning. The son, of course, has a rocky relationship with the father figure. The father figure is the one that controls all the messenger hunter birds, whatever the hell they call them. And so, like, now his son is kind of like has a mountain to climb in that aspect. That he needs to become like his father. He needs to be master of the birds, but he can't get one. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. Yeah. One thing that I really liked about that entire beginning sequence was that they were really trying to emphasize you cannot go beyond that cave, like the great beyond, whatever it's called.
Yeah, the valley.
They're protected by the valley beyond. They're protected by their elders. Their elders don't want them to know what's out there because it's all apocalypse, war, that kind of thing. So the reason why I like that so much is what happens afterwards when the kingdom of the Planet of the Apes eventually they come over to the tribe because they're hunting humans, and they find that tribe, and so they burn the place down. They kill the main character's father, which was real Mufasa like. That big ape, that really big fucking ape, it was crazy cool. I loved him. Jesus Christ.
The gorilla.
He's threatening, dude. He's threatening.
And I just love how this whole sequence, you can feel the chaos. It's like, it's a bit more shaky cam. There's a lot of shit happening and the camera's just constantly going back and forth. And it's like you feel like you're in the crowd.
Oh, yeah.
Of like all these apes running around on horses with shock sticks, electrocuting all the members of the village. It was just... This whole sequence is just so good.
Yeah, easy.
And it really, you can feel the tension in your fucking balls.
Yeah. No, and I want to add this again. The visual effects of this scene are masterclass. Plain and simple. It's so beautiful. The fire, the village that they're in, the gorillas, everything in there is just beautiful. It feels real. It's crazy how good that movie looked. But we're not just talking about looks. We're talking about substance here. And substance-wise, the villain is menacing as hell. You fear for the apes' lives. And throughout the whole thing, you kind of feel sad for him because you know he's going to lose his father. You know, like, it's not... The story is not unpredictable by any means until, like, the very end. That's about it, right? But it's still a very well-told story. It's a coming-of-age thing. It's the son building up to be like his father, that kind of thing. And it's still wonderfully told. It's a strong story. And one of the themes that I really like is the Roman history thing. I mean, they mentioned that, like, blatantly when we met our second intelligent human, is that these guys base their entire kingdom off of the Roman Colosseum kind of history. Is that they have their kingdom and they go around pillaging other villages, other tribes. They take them in for slave labor, that kind of thing. So their entire lives are built around old human history, you know? So I find it really insightful to how como se dice, things were back then and how they invaded those lands and how they pillaged them. They looted everything. They took their women, that kind of shit. You know what I mean? It was crazy to witness in real time. It was crazy to see it all happening with them as well. Kind of like the apes are closer to human than we think, you know? So
yeah.
It was a really cool, it was a little cool thought experiment. You know what I mean? So I enjoyed that.
Yeah. Very nice reflection of human history to ape history.
Indeed. And, dude, we have so much more to go over when it comes to that. The Raka character especially has a lot to go with there. The
best character.
Caesar is basically Jesus in this movie. All right? Yeah, you mentioned that. You mentioned 100%. That. Caesar is basically Jesus. I stole that line. I should... My bad. He said that. I didn't. Okay?
It's all good. It's okay.
All right?
Yeah.
But anyway, so Caesar is basically Jesus in this universe, right? And so Raka... when the main character finally meets Raka, I'm not breaking down their story adequately at all if you haven't seen it. So go see the movie, okay? Because I'm not gonna spoil it for somebody who hasn't seen the movie, okay? If you haven't seen the movie yet, go see it. It's great. If you like the previous 3 Apes films, then you will love this movie. If you don't like the previous Apes films, then you will not like this movie. That's it.
It's just more of Planet of the Apes.
Right.
That's it.
Which is crazy, because when I thought of this movie initially, I'm like, I'm scared. I feel like they're going to fuck it up. I feel like they're cashing in. that kind of thing. But, no, they were cooking. Holmes, they were cooking. So, it's okay with me. This movie...
But
go ahead.
It's a reasonable response to have, being afraid of, like, it's just they're doing a 4th one because it's a cash grab.
Right.
And, the last movie received well. But, they found a filmmaker that actually gave a shit.
Yeah.
And wanted to tell a good story and tell it in a meaningful way. And that's exactly what they did. And so, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, while it doesn't have the same characters or follow the same story, it stands up with that previous trilogy.
I mean, this director made the Maze Runner trilogy, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Wes Ball.
And Wes Ball knows what he's doing when it comes to, like, kind of bigger budget, like, bigger scale films. The thing is, he hasn't worked with at least not that I've seen, he hasn't done a film with this much CGI, this much technical effects, There are plenty of it in Maze Runner, but nowhere near as much, you know what I mean? So, it's crazy.
Maze Runner's a lot of sets and outdoors, and that's really it. There's nothing, no big crazy CG,
that being
characters.
That being said, he pulled this off directorially. Some of the shots in this film are crazy. Some of the subtleties in this film are even more crazy. Like, the director has a crazy job. He has to solve problems, okay? And I'm telling you right now, I can tell Wes Ball was Johnny on the spot, because this film is just masterfully crafted when it comes to cinematography, when it comes to the performances of the motion capture actors, that kind of thing. There's just so much there, and it's great. So Wes Ball, good job, bro. Good job, bro.
And apparently there's hopes of him wanting to do a director's cut. I was reading that there's 30 to 40 minutes of scenes on the cutting room floor that we didn't get to see.
Fuck yeah! Please do that shit. Oh yeah,
I would be so down.
I watched the hell out of that. Oh yes, please do that. Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes will make its money back. I think it will profit. You think? I
think they're already. I think they've already made like close to what their budget was back already.
Good. Okay. Well then, yeah, because I want to see.
They've been doing good numbers.
Because
they had I believe it was the highest domestic opening of the entire franchise so far.
Yeah, we like that. So I don't want to hear that shit about how cinema's dead. Barbie made $1 billion. You know what I'm saying?
Oppenheimer made $1 billion.
Oppenheimer made $1 billion.
Oppenheimer made $1 billion is impressive.
Yeah, you know what? You're right. The fact that Oppenheimer made $1 billion is crazy. Yep.
Yeah.
And it didn't WB like try to say didn't WB didn't WB try to cut off Oppenheimer's success by releasing Barbie on the same date?
I think so.
It must have been because
I think they were just mad at Christopher Nolan.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
For signing with Universal instead of Warner Brothers.
So they're like, "Oh shit! Well, we're releasing on the same day. Fuck you, Nolan." And then it actually helped because so many people.
Both of them.
Yeah, it really did because they had so many people who wouldn't see Oppenheimer because Barbie played on the same day. Vice versa. A whole lot of people who were just going to see Oppenheimer went to see Barbie with their girlfriend.
Yeah.
That's it.
And I'm pretty sure there were people as well that, like, on the day decided, okay, we're going to go see Barbie. They go to the movies. Oh, it's sold out. I'm sorry. Oh, well, I guess we'll watch Oppenheimer instead.
Yeah, for real.
I'm sure that happened to so many people.
$1 billion each is wild, though. At the same time,
yeah,
that's wild. Yeah. Anyway,
and then Mission Impossible came out, like, the week before, too.
And Mission Impossible did they even profit? Ah, hell no. I don't even think they profited. Okay, which is crazy because Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning, he hasn't seen it. I have. No. Mwah! Oh, it's fucking awesome, dude. It's crazy fucking badass. The cinematography, I told him this before. I'll bring it up to y'all. The cinematography of Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning is the equivalent of the trailer, but it's the entire film. That's it. It's really that well shot. That all of the great shots in the trailer are literally the entire film. As in, the entire film was shot that well. Yeah.
I love me some good cinematography.
Oh, it's orgasmic, bro. It's orgasmic, bro.
I'm literally nutting on podcast.
Right now. I've already done it like 4 times. I'm sweating. All right, let's be honest. Jesus Christ. But anyway, back to Kingdom.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were talking about that gorilla movie. What was that? Yeah. So we had the introduction of Raka Raka, my bad. The
YouTube channel.
I'm gonna call him Raka Raka from now on. So we talked to Raka Raka, yeah, and basically the main character doesn't know who the fuck Caesar is. Nobody knows who the fuck Caesar is. The only people who know who the fuck Caesar is like the kingdom. That's about it, right? So the tribes don't know who the fuck Caesar is. So Raka Raka talks to him is like, yeah, you know, a lot of people twist his words, that kind of thing, which is kind of a direct parallel to Jesus. It's like, yeah, a lot of people took his example and kind of twisted it to fit their own agenda. I'm like, wow, that's insightful as fuck for a gorilla. So you know, eventually they start riding together and they find a human that's kind of been following them like a scavenger. I like this human character. She's not bad. Wish she had more lines, but I'm sure we'll have sequels.
Same.
Como se dice, but it's not bad at all. And there's a twist at the end that I kind of feel was half baked, but we'll get to that. So you know, I like that character. Eventually, they come across this like pasture of humans that are just basically the fucking sheep. You know what I mean? Like they don't know how to speak, they don't know how to do nothing. They just run, right? So eventually, Raka's like, okay, I'll drop her off with her people, whatever, and I'll go with her while the main character goes off to do something else. But of course, as soon as
his family.
Right, and then as soon as the main character goes off to find his family because they got captured by the kingdom, that big gorilla, as soon as he fucking leaves, the big gorilla comes back and starts chasing more humans, and that includes Raka's group. So they're all running. You know, it's like, oh shit, I gotta go save them. First of all, I just want to be honest, that girl outrunning a horse, that's wild. All right?
That is crazy. She's gotta be a track star in another life.
She's a track star. That being said, besides that slight suspension of disbelief, I enjoyed that scene very much so. The tall grass part was my favorite part. When they were hiding, it's like,
so good.
find her! And they're like looking through the grass, and eventually she gets up, sees, what's his name? The main guy's name?
Noah.
They see Noah, and is like, oh shit. And then like, he yells at him, and then she starts running, and Noah's like, damn, okay, she's coming. And then people start chasing her. That big gorilla is so menacing. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, he's fast as fuck, too.
I was scared for her, bro. And then they did the trailer shot where Noah catches her, that kind of thing. Noah and Nova, I think that's her name. So,
Raka calls her Nova. He says we call all humans Nova. I don't know why.
yeah. And then Noah thinks of all humans as Echo. Yeah.
For him, they're echoes. Because that's what the people in his village refer to them as.
This is a video game ass plot, dude. I want to point that out right now.
Yeah, you said that during the movie.
Multiple times.
Just the opening.
Times.
Like with the whole village, and then it's just like, oh, I got to go out to get. Because what happened? He didn't get an egg, or he lost it.
Yeah, so he had to go find another egg. He
had to go back out to find another egg, and you're like, this is a video game side.
This is a video game ass plot. Legit. Holmes. The first time he tried to get an egg didn't work. Find an alternate method to find an egg. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
ridiculous, man.
It's like a tutorial. Like the opening is just a tutorial of how to do parkour.
I need my Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes video game today. Where are my movie tie-in games? They're not here no more. What's going on?
Bring back movie tie-in games.
No.
Good ones.
Good ones. Yeah. Fucking hell, dude. Good ones.
Yeah. I have to emphasize it. Good ones, please.
Yeah, man. Anyway, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. So, after the whole debacle of the woman running away from the big gorilla and Noah catching her, and they all run away with Raka, they're both on their horses. We had the funniest moment in cinema history. So after a crazy tense-ass mission and after a tense-ass moment in the movie, just like, damn, that was crazy. I wonder what's going to happen next. This movie's awesome. They do a hard cut of a camera right on a horse's ass, and Raka slapping the fuck out of this cheek, bro. Dude, he slapped the hell out of that cheek so hard, the slap sound effect reverbed throughout the entire theater. Bro, nobody laughed but us. Nobody laughed but us. The thing is, he slapped the horse, and I was like, he did this. Damn. It was, for a solid 10 minutes, we couldn't pay attention. I was dying. Bro, the theater was full. It was packed. The theater was packed, and we were dying, bro. Oh, my God. Thing is, we were quiet. We weren't bothering nobody. We were quiet. Yeah. But, dude, it was so hard to hold it in. I was laughing laughing my ass off,
And it didn't help that both of us, we would find our composure, right? Stop laughing. It's like, all right, pay attention. Let's watch the movie. Right. And then immediately it plays again in my head. And I just can't help but laugh again.
No, I do that shit constantly. And then when I thought I was okay, and then you thought you were okay, I look at you, and then we laugh again.
Dude,
bro,
it is the funniest transition in cinema history. It is so fucking funny,
dude.
Bro. And then I heard one lady in the row behind us say something like, "Why are they laughing?"
Yeah, I didn't even hear it. I was so focused.
No one got it.
No one got it.
No one else got it but us.
Literally, no one laughed except us. There were a bunch of young kids in that theater too, bro. Nobody laughed except us. What the fuck? Yeah. It's like, dude.
Because it's the last thing I was expecting.
Yeah.
In a scene like that.
Yeah. Bro, I'm telling you right now, when me and Squeedo have clown-to-clown conversation, this is exactly what the fuck I mean. We saw that shit and both at the same time just fucking died on the spot. Dude. It was so fucking funny because crazy shit just happened. Okay, they're going to start to unwind now that, the action is over. They're going to start to slow down and relax. And then they just cut to a horse's ass being slapped so hard, all the meat on his bones vibrated. Bro, Jesus Christ. Like, the horse gets it. You want him to run. Why'd you have to hit him so hard? And the characters don't acknowledge it. It's just like a normal thing for them. Yeah, we slap our horses like this all the time.
He was sending the horse away, but it's just for us, because it came out of fucking nowhere.
It came out of left field. It's just a massive ass on the screen, and bah! Like, Jesus Christ. What the fuck? It's like the wrestler when, like, he bought some steroids, and then instead of, like, him taking down his pants and, like, all that, no, they just cut to his ass cheeks out, and he slaps it as soon as it cuts. Yeah. So it's exactly like that. It's like, what the fuck? Hold on, why are we hit? What, this a porno now? Hold on, It's just...
What made it so much worse is we couldn't pay attention for the next 10 minutes, and the next 10 minutes were actually pivotal to the fucking story.
Yeah, I had no idea what they were saying for, like, the next 10 minutes. Up until, like, the bridge scene, I wasn't even paying attention. Yeah. Dude, because I was dying, bro.
The two things we missed were the human girl talking finally.
Yeah, I heard it. And so, like, I acknowledged
it. I have a name. She said, I have a name. It's May. Mm-hmm. And then that's when both of them, have their jaws dropped and Rocket dropped.
Her name's May? See, I missed that entirely. I didn't know her name was May.
Yeah, her name is May. Not Nova. Her name is May.
My bad.
And then after that, at the campfire, we had Noah fixing the shock stick that he found.
Shock stick I got.
It was broken.
No, you see, that's my thing, is that we laughed all the way up through those two scenes. And dude, I was so scared we were bothering other people. So, like, I was trying so hard to stuff it down, and I just couldn't. It
made it funnier. Yeah. It made it funnier, the fact that we were trying not to laugh.
We were holding it in so fucking hard, and we couldn't hold it in for the life of us. We couldn't do it.
I'm usually pretty good at being stone-faced and holding in my laugh, but dude...
not today.
that was, like, the hardest I've laughed in a long time.
Dude, my defenses were not up. I didn't expect any comedy at that moment. It just happened.
Yeah, exactly.
It was like, whoa, what the fuck? And it wasn't even comedy! That's the thing! It literally had nothing to do with comedy. The directors did not intend for that in any way, shape, or form. It just happened. They just thought, yeah, this is a good transition. That's it! That's all it was!
I don't know. Maybe something's wrong with us, but that shit was funny as fuck.
That shit was funny as fuck. Now I know if someone watches this and then they go watch the movies, like, I see what y'all mean. mean.
Because I feel like if you're looking for it, it might not be as funny.
Yeah.
But then you also have people that were like hella immersed. I mean, I was immersed too.
I was immersed.
We both were hella immersed. It's just, that took me out. Because it was came out of fucking nowhere.
Now, you know what took me out? Halfway, right before, like, the big finale, where they're like, okay, we're gonna go into this bunker. The lights came on. The fucking lights in the theater just came on. And I was like, damn, that's crazy. And then everyone... I'm telling you, we got some NPCs in our midst, bro. Because literally, like, one person got up to use the bathroom, then another person, and then, like, 4 people, and then 6 people. Like, what the fuck? Dude, literally everyone was leaving during the planning phase of the finale. What the fuck are y'all doing? All at the same time. Fucking high-minded.
And it's crazy because for me, like, I was immersed and then the lights came on, broke my immersion, and then literally a minute later, I was locked back in. I'm like, this shit is good. So it's like the lights were on while I was still enjoying the movie.
This is heat. Yeah. No, and then finally the light turned back off. But that's my thing, is that they have them on a timer. Ew.
Yeah, it must have been on a timer. It had to be on a timer.
Ridiculous.
Because before that Planet of the Apes showing, they were showing the Fall Guy in IMAX. And I don't know if they still had it on that timer or whatever the fuck.
Whatever the fuck it was, god damn it.
Yeah. And then after the movie, the lights didn't turn on.
Yeah, it was still dark. We had to fucking climb through like a dark cave downstairs and shit. Where's the light? Oh, let me get my phone. The flashlight, fucking up. And then I forgot my gummy bears, and so I had to crawl back up.
In pitch black.
Bruh, it was so dark in there. Holy shit. Like, no lights. Like, I remember, like, I go to a Regal, right, and they have lights on the walkway, and you can kind of see where you're walking. They don't have that here. They had little lights, but they don't light up the walkway, and it's a staircase. No. You're just kind of fucked.
When it's a steep staircase too. It's not like it's not a wide one.
Yeah, it's a steep one.
The theater's more vertical.
Bruh.
And yeah,
R.I.P.
it's just during the movie that shit is literally pitch black.
Yeah, you know, man, I should have just fell and like held my back. That's what I should have done. Like, damn, y'all, the lights got to be off. What are you doing?
You would have had a good lawsuit in your hands.
Damn,
man.
I should have done that. Oh well. So. Eventually, we get to a point where Raka, Noah, and May,
Yes.
they all get to the water bridge, the big dam, and like, okay, we're gonna cross this, and it turns out to be an ambush by the big gorilla. So it was like, oh shit, that's wild. So they all ambush them, and eventually Raka gets into a scuffle and saves May, but in doing so, Raka gets killed in the process. And this is where I differ with the movie.
Yeah, I think both of us didn't like that creative decision.
Raka dying this early in the film was not constructive to Noah's character. Fact is fact, Noah became more compelling over time because he was learning from Raka and his father and whatnot, right? And now I understand that now he's supposed to be learning from Proximus, the negative side of things. I do believe there was more room for Raka to be in this film and not only influence Noah, but to be influenced by Proximus.
Mm-hmm.
But
and I think I said this after the movie. I think Raka, I don't remember how they said it in the movie. I think it was Raka. I think he died before he could have had a substantial impact.
Yes.
Because he was the best character for both of us. We loved his character. And, but he didn't do anything spectacular yet, and I feel like it was building up to something for him, but I feel like it just happened too soon. We didn't have enough scenes with him. The weight wasn't there, and his relationship with Noah, I feel like, wasn't as strong as it should have been for a scene like that.
Now, if I had a creative arbiter of the universe, if I had the if I was behind the project, and me and Sweeto talked about this when we were in the car ride home, what we would have done instead was have Raka be captured with Noah, right? And then Noah and Raka, they meet the family. Raka's preaching about Caesar, and Proximus hears of this. And Proximus also hears about how Noah has ingenuity. And so he's like, okay, bet. I'm going to take y'all two. I'm going to bring you up here so we can have dinner with May. And Proximus has a direct argument with Raka about who Caesar really was. And so, of course, Raka's going to deny it all. It's like, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. You're twisting his words, whatever. And Raka's going to have some truth. But Proximus is also going to have some truth. And they're going to be they're going to be having a literal philosophical debate in front of our eyes. Something that I think this movie could have pulled off easy. Yeah. Because you don't see that.
It was a clear theme for Noah, at least, as an important part of his character.
To pick a side!
Was the decision between, Raka and Proximus. They're the two sides of the coin.
Yeah.
Noah was in the middle, and the entire time, the movie really felt like he's going to pick a side.
The movie was about politics. The movie was about human history and how we treated each other over the years. And how the apes can't have humans be around because eventually they'll find a way to get to the top of the food chain again. So we have to learn from what they've done in the past so we can eradicate them fully. But Raka doesn't want that. Raka wants a world where we can live side by side. Proximus is right, and Raka's also right. So having them actually have an argument in front of Noah would have been powerful. You know why? Not only because it would influence Noah, but because if Raka was still alive and he went to the bunker with May and Noah and the other two, and he saw that book where they had apes in cages, that would have been astronomically impactful because it would have affected Raka's viewpoint on Caesar as well. Why would Caesar save these humans? Why would Caesar have sympathy for these humans? They caged him like an animal. They treated him like a slave. And Raka's whole argument in his mind would crumble and he would be broken. Yeah. And Noah would see that. And then Raka, instead of the mother figure being held at knife point at the end, Raka would have been held at knife point, and he should have been killed right at the end, and then May would have shot the guy who killed him. That,
Yeah.
I think, is literally the perfect use of Rocka's character without retreading the ground of the previous trilogy where they had that same ape across 3 films.
Yep. And Rocka would have had a lot more impact.
Absolutely.
If he had stayed that long till the end.
Way more impact on the film, way more impact on Proximus, and way more impact on Noah. And once again, that finding in the little school, in the bunker, would have completely contradicted what Rocka has been preaching for years. So, or for the entire film, rather. You understand that. And so,
Yeah.
I would have understand Noah kind of leaning towards Proximus more after all of that, you know?
Yeah.
But it's like they sped run it, you know? This movie needed to be longer. That's my opinion. It needed to have more character analysis. And we'll get to the rest of that. But basically, Rocka, I feel like, even though he was good for what he did, I love the actor, by the way. He was really good for what was there. He's our favorites. He still could have been used a lot better. And I feel like there could have been more for his character. Definitely.
Yeah. And it definitely would have added a lot more for May as well.
Absolutely.
Being the one human. She didn't really have that much of an emotional connection in the story. And I feel like Rocka, being the first ape that was actually kind to her.
Yeah! Her shooting an ape, her putting herself in danger for Rocka after all that, even after Rocka kind of turning towards her and kind of rejecting her in a way. Yeah, I mean, that's it.
Yeah.
I don't know if Rocka
would have made sense.
I don't know if Rocka would have turned, but maybe Noah would have thought about turning, and then Rocka could have been like, no, calm down, this and that. You know what I mean? Like, Rocka could have had a strong fucking presence until the end, and then he gets killed at the end, and then Noah has to keep that mentality that Rocka has in his own mind, you know?
Yeah.
What I think they're going to do is they're going to try to go into the sequels. Maybe it's going to be a time jump, and Noah's going to have both those mentalities constantly fighting in his head. Proximus is completely negative versus Rocka's light side of it all. You understand? So I think that's what they're
I
going
like
to
that
do.
he didn't pick a side.
Yeah.
He didn't really.
Well,
and he even
room.
says at the end of the there's room. He even says, with May, like he appreciates that she saved him and all, but he still doesn't trust her.
I just feel
why would he?
I just feel like they could have made this story more impactful. That's it. You know? I feel like they definitely, if they kept Rocka around, it would have been more impactful, and it would have had that light side and Noah's head be a lot more prominent. Because by the end of the movie, you don't even feel Rocka's side anymore. You just feel Proximus's. It's
just Proximus. And Proximus has such a demanding presence.
He really does.
Throughout the entire third act that it's just... He feels like it's just...
We needed more Proximus!
Yeah.
What a wonderful day!
Wonderful. Yeah, it's like you said, you don't feel Rocka's side by the end. And it's just Proximus. The entire second half of the movie is just Proximus.
Even though, and I will point this out, it's like, well, Noah chose not to hurt her at the end. It's like, yeah, but that's it. That's all he did. He didn't choose.
They're not friends.
Yeah, not at all. He gave her the necklace to kind of remind her of Ape, but that's it. He's not pushing towards Rocka's side at all. If anything, he's leaning more towards the negative side. So I see what they're trying to do. I just think that Rocka could have been stronger. Now, I had an opinion about Proximus and how he shouldn't have died at the end, and Proximus should be built across 3 films. Now, while I would like that idea, and if I had a creative power, I probably would have done that, made him like Thanos level threat, right? I see now that that's not what they're going for. They're trying to do, I think what they're going to do is they're going to do a time jump, and then eventually maybe Noah's tribe is going to go up against another ape tribe or something like that. And Noah is constantly going to have those two's philosophy in his head while he's facing his own battles, And geez, and I think that's definitely a strong way to do it. I just really think that if Rocka was kept alive, it would have made the movie a lot stronger, and it definitely would have had that inner conflict a lot more. It would have felt a lot stronger because, first of all, it would have been more obvious. But then the main thing is that Rocka would have not been shown as a perfect hero, and Proximus wouldn't have been shown as the perfect villain either. You understand? Mm-hmm. They would have had some sort of conflict. They would have had some sort of compromise between the two. Or Proximus would just shut down Raka completely, and that would show Proximus's weakness, you know? Either way. Yeah. Whatever way it would have been. I really think if you got those two in a room in that meeting and they would have had an argument, godlike. It would be godlike. You're right. But they never did it. They didn't pull the trigger on it. And I think that's a crime. I think that this movie could have pulled off that scene beautifully. And it would have been seamless too. That's the thing. For like general audiences, somehow they would be able to pull off that philosophical conversation without boring them. I really think so. I think it would have been perfect for them to attempt to do something like that. It's right there. Yeah. It was in your hands and you refused to do it. So I think Raka should have stayed alive to at least meet Proximus and then would have been killed at the end. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. Just the conversation between the two of them, the war of words, you know?
Yes.
Like, it doesn't need to be a physical confrontation.
No, of course not.
Words.
Just words. Because Proximus showed that, you know, he'll get angry, he'll snap at you, but he's not going to hurt you unless he has a reason to. He's not going to do that. He'll get mad, he'll snap, he'll yell at you or he'll have an argument with you, but he'll also try to persuade you and kind of lean you into it. Because if he knows that if you believe what you're doing for him is in your and everyone else's best interest, then you're more likely to follow through with it. You understand? He's kind of manipulative in that way. But it's just so... Yeah. His character is so strong and layered for a fucking ape movie. You know? Keep in mind, this movie, we're talking about philosophical differences and shit. These are literally gorillas walking around speaking English. I just want to put that out. Okay?
Monkeys, gorilla, any kind of monkey. It's like, this movie's a zoo, bro.
This is a zoo. We're literally watching a zoo movie. And we're talking about philosophical differences. Because the movie could have pulled it off. Go ahead.
Crazy how apes are more well written than a lot of characters in a lot of other movies.
For real. And they're better written than the humans in this movie. I'm being honest.
Yeah, you know, that's true.
It's fine because they're not the focal point. But still, come on, you know. But still. Raka.
I will say one thing about Raka's death that I think had a positive to it. So I think the one positive of killing off Raka early is that by the time you meet Proximus, it does feel more hopeless for Noah.
Yes.
Because Raka is the light, you know? He's the more hopeful character, more lighthearted. You know, there was a lot more comedy in the movie when he was in it. And then by the time he's gone and it's just Noah, you know, trapped in this camp with his family and his tribe, and Proximus ruling that camp, it feels a lot more hopeless. It's a lot darker when you get to that point because you're just, oh shit, there's no hope here. There's no light on this side of the village, you know.
I hear you.
So I like that aspect of it, but I do agree that he should have stayed alive. But there is also a positive. There is a positive to him not being there, and I see what the movie was going for.
Yes, absolutely. I do see where the movie was going for, and I actually see where you're coming from as well. I just think, and I know you agree with me, that it would have been more impactful if they did something else, you know?
Yes.
If they played the long game.
It would have been a lot stronger.
Yeah. Maybe they wanted to play it safe, considering it was a very risky movie to make. Very risky. To make a movie on a trilogy that's already beloved, and then they wanted to make a 4. Yeah. Maybe they tried to make it safe and see where they could go. But I do believe it's a missed opportunity. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So that's what I have for Raka in the film. Now, let me go more in depth with Proximus. All right, because we're just gonna cut to Proximus, and then we're gonna talk about how Proximus and everything else have tied up at the end. So Proximus, for the record. Okay, I said that Raka is my favorite character, but Proximus is a close fucking second.
He's very, very close.
Proximus, the only reason why Proximus isn't my favorite character in this film is because we don't have enough screen time with Proximus. And
he's not in it that much.
Which is wild. Dude, this is a 2.5 hour film, and we don't have more Proximus? What? Come on! You know what I'm saying? I understand that even though the character is strong, he's not really the main focus, the main issue. The main issue is trying to find what humans have done in the past and if humans are actually worth keeping around. I understand that. What I'm saying is that Proximus, I feel like he could have been a lot stronger, because when I watch a movie, I feel like the biggest thing for me when I watch movies are characters. Movies that are character driven are always a plus in my book, and are always better than movies that aren't, in my opinion. You understand? Character driven movies have always been the best for me. So when I see characters that actually are charismatic and are actually damn good to watch and have good lines and have great charisma, when I see them underutilized, it hurts. It really does.
Yeah.
And Proximus is one of those characters that were underutilized. Absolutely.
Yeah, he just has an aura.
He
every
does.
scene that Proximus is in, he has the spotlight on
What
him.
a wonderful
No matter
day! I love it. I love it.
I love that. Is that his first line?
Yes!
I'm pretty sure it is. I love that that's his first line. What a wonderful day.
Dude, gives me fucking Immortan Joe vibes. Immortan!
Yeah.
You know, I love it. No.
And one thing I've had in the back of my head ever since I learned about the actor that played Proximus, when I talked about Abigail, the movie, I mentioned that there were some performances I didn't like in the movie, and one of them was the big dumb brute, who was played by Kevin Durand, who also plays Proximus.
Wow.
All criticism I have for Kevin Durand and Abigail is immediately gone now because I see his range.
There you go.
His range to play a big dumb brute, and then in this movie as Proximus, and just steal the show for the entire second half. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. He's great. I'm down.
I do too.
I'm down. So yeah, I just wanted to point that out. I didn't like him that much in Abigail, but now I see his range. I can see, what kind of characters he's capable of, and I love it. I want to see more of him.
I think Proximus is definitely, I think he's my second favorite villain of the series. Because the only reason why he's not number one is because of his underutilization. Coda in Dawn of the Planet of the Apes got plenty of screen time. And he was actually a friend to Caesar for a while until eventually he turns on him. And you can see that happen in real time, Mm-hmm. Proximus didn't get any of that, which is why my initial knee-jerk reaction was keep Proximus alive and build him up across 3 films. Because I wanted to see more Proximus. What I want to see, and I think this is probably going to be saving for the film, or at least more. It'll give us a more complete picture for the film. Is I want to see the deleted scenes. Is there more Proximus? Is there more dialogue scenes?
More Raka.
Are there deleted scenes where Raka was kept alive? We don't know. I want to see
an alternative ending.
An alternative timeline, maybe. I have no idea. Like a different ending would be crazy. I don't think that's the case, but you never know with these fucking movies because. Come on, say I do wholeheartedly believe that there's more Proximus stuff that they just had to cut out because of the runtime. 30 to 40 minutes of behind the scenes stuff? There's no way. There's no way. Yeah. That's ridiculous. That's unheard of. Usually a film gets like 2, 3, maybe 4 deleted scenes. You know what I mean? Like a few that come in DVD extras. 30 to 40 minutes, bro. Oh,
yeah,
hell no.
That's crazy. I mean, to be fair, with assembly cuts of movies are often very long before they get to the theatrical cut. So there's typically a lot of stuff cut out, but I'm just wondering.
But stuff that you're willing to present to the public, 30 to 40 minutes, that's wild.
That is wild. So it makes me wonder, if they were just afraid of having a 3-hour movie.
Yeah, I'd like
because it's risky having a 3-hour movie.
I think that's
this movie's already risky as is.
Yeah, it is. It is very risky. I think that's definitely a part of it. We both know Wes Ball is no Zack Snyder. You know what I'm saying? We both know that Zack Snyder's out here making 7-8 hour films and shit. It's like, no, wait a minute, hold on. You know what I'm saying? But
yeah.
Wes Ball isn't making those kinds of films, and the fact that he has so much cut footage tells me that he was going for a solid 250 3-hour film. And they didn't want that. The studio wanted to cut it, I feel like this movie required more. It was it wasn't thrown together. It was carefully crafted, obviously. I'm saying that there were some things that were taken out that you could tell that it was taken out. There was an emptiness there. You understand?
Yeah, I would say specifically it's in the third act.
Yes,
where
very much
feel
so.
You feel like they should have maybe, set this up a lot more. Proximus should have been in the movie longer. The whole plot device with the vault should have been a lot stronger. But it felt like they introduced all that stuff a bit too late in the story for it to matter.
Man, let me just point out what's there's something that I want to point out very well about Kingdom, the Planet of the Apes, and that's framing. The way that they framed Proximus opening up that door was fucking legendary. Okay, because to Proximus, this is the end all be all. The way that he was trying to open the door was a bunch of apes with chains, and then eventually he'll electrify the chains to make the door a big wall of fire, so it'll melt down and explode or break down, whatever. He doesn't understand the concept of like this really thick steel door that's electronically sealed, that kind of thing. He doesn't understand that concept. So for him, he thinks, okay, these doors are going to fall and bend to the power of my will. And the way that it was shot and the music that was over and the way Proximus was like, oh, light it now, whatever, right? They were basically framing
yelling.
Right. It made you feel like, damn, he's actually going to get through it, because of the way they were framing it. And then eventually when it turned out to be a dud and the whips came back and killed a bunch of apes, which, by the way, nice touch. You could tell just by framing, they made what seemed to be an insignificant act into an act that was extremely substantial to the apes, from the apes' perspective, A lesser director would show that in a comedic sense. A lesser director would show that, oh, these apes don't know what they're doing, they're dumb. Wes Ball saw that and framed it in a way from the apes' perspective, and that made you believe it. So I just want to point that out. Once again, to the movie's credit, they knew what the fuck they were doing in cinematography and framing. Absolutely.
And talking about that scene, I want to say about how important it is for how they present Proximus.
Yes.
Because Proximus is this leader, and you can kind of tell that Noah's mom is she's kind of scared, and everyone's kind of hunched over, and they're all in their shells, right? Everyone's introverted,
right?
And they don't want to talk to anybody. And so when Proximus comes out, and the first thing he says is, "What a wonderful day!"
Everyone cheers,
and you hear all the apes cheering, and everyone's happy.
You expected this to be
even Proximus has a big smile on his face, and everything's all good. And he even says, "Apes together strong."
Damn right.
And then when that whole sequence happens with the chains, breaking and whipping into the apes and everything, the first thing Proximus says, the smile disappears, and he just goes, "Maybe stronger tomorrow," and then walks away. He doesn't give a fuck. He does not care about these apes.
Absolutely, which is one of the biggest fucking pluses I can give to Proximus' character and the movie in general is that you expect this to be like the death camps in the War for the Planet of the Apes.
Yeah.
You expect it to be that these guys are slave labor, these guys are being treated like horrible, that kind of thing. What you don't expect is that these people are actually a united front that believe in Proximus. They're not prisoners. Yeah. They believe that where they are is best for them.
Yeah.
And Proximus is able to manipulate every single person there to think that this is what's best for them, to serve his needs, because he's all-seeing, he's all-knowing, he is Caesar. You understand? He is a false prophet. And so he's able to manipulate all these people under the guise of their Jesus, their Caesar, by assuming his crown, assuming his role, and twisting Caesar's role to his own needs, and his own needs being, we need to eradicate all humans, and in order to do that, we need to open these doors. So he makes it seem as if it's a holy mission, a mission that is in everyone's best interest, because he doesn't have prisoners, he doesn't have slaves, he has devout followers. And that's what makes that part so strong for me, is that those people are doing it out of their own free will. They choose not to rebel.
And it's a testament to how good this movie is that we're able to get all of this when Proximus is not in the movie that much.
Yeah! He's literally, for what, 15 minutes?
Probably. But it just shows how good this movie is, that they're able to give you so much information by just showing you. It's that show don't tell rule in movies.
Yeah.
They just show you little things, and you get so much out of it. Proximus is such a well-written, layered character because of that. Because this scene just shows how he is as a leader. and what the name Caesar means to him. Because when we first see the bad guys, like the big ape, and they all say for Caesar, it's kind of like a what the fuck?
Yeah. How?
They're electrocuting apes and kidnapping them. How is this for Caesar?
Well,
how is this what Caesar would have wanted?
Let me point this out. And then another thing, all right? Now, Dorian hasn't played Fallout New Vegas, but I have. And one of the big negatives, one of the big villain of Fallout New Vegas is Caesar's Legion. It's the Roman side, the Roman kind of villains. It's a Roman faction, right? And so the leader, Caesar, what he does is he goes to various tribes, like, groups of survivors or whatever, and he takes them, he pillages it, burns their land, takes their women, kills a bunch of people, kills the kids, whatever, right? And then makes everybody into slaves. Now, you would think that as a negative, except what he does is he convinces these slaves that what I'm doing has made you more civilized. That's literally what Roman history is all about. Is that they pillage these lands, they plunder them, and where they leave a wasteland, they label it as peace. They label it as advancement. So that's exactly what Proximus represents. This is an entire story about like Roman history, and it's a complete parallel. It's awesome, and it's beautifully crafted. It's not perfect, and there are some issues, but man, it's crazy to think about and to talk about the parallels between this and Roman history. It's to the point where they even gave us the fucking history that they're trying to replicate, which, to be honest, I do think is on the nose and it's kind of dumb, but I do think that for someone like me, who probably wouldn't have drawn that parallel until years later, I appreciate it.
I mean, it makes sense too within the conversation. It's not too explicit, I think.
Right, it's not.
It's just an analysis that the human guy is telling to May. It's just like they base their whole philosophy off the Romans, and it fits within that conversation when he's telling her about the apes and everything going on with Proximus.
And they didn't dwell on it, which is great. What you mentioned is that they
it's
didn't
a
dwell on
throwaway
it. She didn't like say like, oh, what do you think they do that? And then, oh, this and that. No. They just said one thing and then tried to persuade her to join. That's it. That's all happened. Yeah. So.
Because she doesn't give a fuck,
so she
just immediately changed topics. Yeah.
I'm not helping the apes, which is another thing for May's character, is that you can tell she's avidly against apes, but some apes have helped her. So, like, she's like, her mindset is already being challenged. She's grown up with the mentality that apes are horrible, apes will kill you, apes will do this, that, this, and we need to overcome them. But then she runs across apes that actually try to help her in her desperate time. And so she kind of shows sympathy and mercy towards these apes. She's willing to kill and put herself at risk for the apes, but eventually her mission, which is to flood out the bunker so no one can get to it, that takes precedent over her friendships, So eventually she chose the humans, but eventually she might, like throughout the sequels, she might make the decision for the apes. It depends, so we'll see. But
I was very nervous about her performance. Freya
initially,
Allen,
right.
Yeah, who, if you guys don't know who she is, she played Ciri in Netflix's The Witcher. She's good in that show, and she honestly did a pretty good job here too. I liked her performance for the most part. I mean, obviously, the apes, have way better writing, and so they have a lot more to work with. But I think with what she was given, she did a pretty great job, and her performance was compelling for the character that she was playing. Because you don't really you kind of feel for her, but it's more of because it's from Noah's perspective, you don't trust her.
Very much so.
And that's what I liked about her performance, and that she's kind of she's kind of skittish in a way, and you can see it in her facial expressions, that she may be saying one thing, or she may be around the apes, but she's thinking I don't want to be here.
Listen, you feel exactly what the directors and writers intend you to feel about that character, and she performs she performs what she's given to the T. So props to her, she did well. One thing I do want to point out is that May actually killed another human for apes. Now, of course, in her mind, he is no longer a human. He's not on the human side, he's on the ape side.
Yeah.
Of course, but the messaging of it all is that she killed a human being so she could support apes.
Yep.
Now, another way to look at it is that she killed an ape sympathizer in order to take down the apes. Because that's what she did. She flooded out the bunker so the apes can't get advanced technology. She's thinking of it from side to side. She's not thinking about the individual. She's thinking about her faction needs the support. So I need to get to that bunker, and I need to flood it out so those apes can't retaliate against humans. So you can look at it in several ways, but I think the main way is that she killed an ape sympathizer to support her faction and wipe out any chance of the apes being able to eradicate humans, at least in her mind. So
yeah, because he was threatening to tell Proximus about their plan, and so she killed him, and she didn't do it to protect the apes. To protect Noah and his tribe.
But see, that's the thing, is that
she did it to protect her plan.
It can be interpreted in many ways, because it could also be that she wanted to protect her friends, you know?
Yeah.
Like her ape friends, you know? And so, like, in order to do that, there's multiple things. There's multiple reasons why she did it. You know what I mean? Like, multiple realities could be true at once. She saved her ape friends. She saved herself. She saved her colony. Whatever. You know what I mean? Multiple things could be true. But they don't tell you expressly why she did it. They just give it to you, and you make your own conclusions. That's what I love about that. It's your philosophy, is the show don't tell. It makes a lot of sense. So,
yeah, the conflict of this movie it's so good within all the characters.
Yes.
The conflict is really what makes the movie as compelling as it is.
The movie doesn't often treat us like we're stupid, which is, I love it. I love that. Yeah. Okay, because it's a fresh pace from the fucking MCU stuff. They don't treat us like we're stupid. Okay, they have themes and they don't allude to them immediately, so it's great.
And I just real quick want to say, going back to Proximus's actor, if you don't know who he is, he was Blob in X-Men Origins Wolverine.
Did you just call me Blob? I didn't say Blob. I said Bob.
Blob. I used to watch that movie all the time.
I love that movie. Thing is, I know people hate it. I don't care. Guilty pleasure. Fight me.
I still like it.
I still like it. I love the video game too. Yeah. That's the thing. I played the PS2 one. So you played the PlayStation 3 one, I think, right?
Yeah, I played the Wii version, and then later on, my dad bought the PS3 version.
Fire ass games. Anyway,
so good.
Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. Overall, great fucking time. A whole lot of thought experiments we just did with that film.
Yeah.
Let's reach to the near the ending. So eventually, Noah and his two companions. I think two companions, right?
Yeah. His love interest, the girl, and then his best friend.
Mm-hmm. Oh no, wasn't it his mother that came with him, and then his best friend ratted him out to Proximus?
No.
What was it then? Didn't somebody rat him out to Proximus?
I don't know. I don't remember how Proximus found out about them.
I think it was his... Because I remember, like, he was trying to get somebody to come with him, and then it was like, no, I can't do it. I'm too afraid. And
but then he eventually went back anyway.
Oh, he did? Okay.
That's the best friend character.
Okay.
Yeah, he did go with him. That's when the lights were on.
Yeah, okay, cool. I missed that part entirely. Thank you for bringing that up. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, his best friend did come with him, and Proximus just knew. He probably watched him fucking do it. You know what I mean?
It's probably because the door opening was so fucking loud that Proximus was like, "The fuck is going on there?"
Yeah, you're right.
And it opened slow too, because remember the alarm went off first before the doors opened.
You're right. Yeah, what were they expecting? Right? Fucking hell.
Yeah.
These are bunker doors, you know.
True.
Anyway, so they find an alternate way to get in. Which, by the way, you're telling me the apes never found that alternate way? They were so focused on the door that there's just a complete opening on the side. Fucking hell.
Yeah. I mean, guys, you gotta climb up to the top, and there's an opening up there.
The thing is, I believe it because one, it's so out of the way, but the main reason is that they're not really acclimated with modern human ingenuity. They don't understand that architecture, so that's fair. You know? Yeah,
because what was it? Where did they go in through? The air conditioning?
Yeah, the vents. There's no air conditioning in Great Roman times. Yeah, they had fans. They had to get that shit by hand. You know what I'm saying? These kids nowadays with their air conditioning. Okay.
You're right. My bad.
I go a cappella. You know what I mean? That's it. Anyway, so eventually they get into the bunker. It's Noah, his two friends, and May. They all get up there. They have a close call on the climb, which was pretty funny. Didn't Noah, like, he was about to fall. He had May on his back. And so he fell. He catched a rock last second, and then he turned over to May. Shit.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Funny things. And so anyway, they go into the bunker, and May's like, okay, y'all stay here. I'm gonna go. Look, you just stay right here. And so eventually, she gets to a server room where she grabs this little chip that they don't say what it is yet. And so she grabs the chip, she grabs it, and then she opens the lockers and she finds a bunch of guns, like rifles and shit. She only grabs the pistol. I'm like, come on now.
I remember she goes off by herself. She tells Noah and his friends to stay.
Yeah, to stay there. Don't move. Right.
Yeah, and then she goes off and looks for the chip and, like you said, the weapons lockers. And then when she's gone, that's when Noah and their friends are looking around and they see it's a kid's room. It's a kid's room with toys everywhere and decorations. And so with that, they find a book.
They find a classroom. It's a classroom, yeah.
It's a classroom. And so they find a book about the ABCs. And going through, they see pictures of zoo animals. Of course, the zoo animals being monkeys in cages. Mm-hmm. And that just shatters their whole worldview.
Very much so. They thought, because Raka was bringing up that human and ape lived side by side, and they didn't believe Proximus. They thought he was the bad guy. But then Proximus, when they were having a conversation, Proximus brought up that they had us in cages, and Noah didn't believe him. Initially, no one believed him. They just figured, oh, okay, well, he's lying. He's obviously just trying to get what he wants. And then when he found out, shit, they do keep us in cages. That's when it was like, oh, wait a minute. Raka may not have been telling the truth. Which is why Raka should have been there! But okay.
And it's also, when May comes back, Noah gives her a look of just like,
this
I don't
bitch.
really like you.
This bitch,
Like, I don't trust this girl.
Mm-hmm. But eventually, como se dice, they find everything, and May tells them all, okay, we gotta leave. So they open the door. It's like, okay, as soon as they open the door, we're gonna fuck up the dam, and then it's gonna blow up, and then it's gonna flood the bunker. And then as soon as they open the door, Proximus is like, what were y'all cooking back here? You know what I mean? What's going on here? What's all that movement? And so of course, so the door's open. What's all that movement back there? So the door's open, and Proximus is just chilling there, like, oh, hi, how you doing? And then his buddies are there.
And his crew.
Yeah, his whole crew is there. The big guy, the left hand, whatever the fuck these guys' names are, I don't even know. So they're all there, and the event Proximus is like, okay, you need to tell me what you learned. You need to show me where all the information is. Where are the guns? Where are the weapons? That kind of thing. You need to show me now. And then
he compliments Noah first. He's like, you are clever, because he praises Noah for opening the door.
Perhaps too clever.
Yeah.
And so eventually, Proximus basically just threatens them. He's like, you need to tell me where everything is. And May's just chilling there, Eventually, Proximus has his buddy grab a knife and hold the knife to, I think it was Noah's mother, if I'm not mistaken.
No, it was the love interest.
Oh, love interest.
Female,
okay.
The female best friend that was already in the vault. And Proximus is asking if May had a plan or a trap set for them when he went inside.
Of course not.
Yeah, no, she wouldn't hurt an ape.
Of course not. So yeah, right. Eventually, it gets to a point where May sacrifice. Well, she doesn't sacrifice, but she's like, okay, fuck, the ape's gonna die. I gotta do something. She pulls out a gun and shoots the fucking ape that was holding the other ape to knife point. Which, to be honest, that shot little impossible. I'm being honest. Like
she shot him square in the chest.
Like, I'm sorry, you must have shot straight through the other one then, right? No, I guess not. The bullet just went around him. You think it ricocheted like Deadshot? What do you think?
Yeah. Jesus but I do like that reveal of, like, he lets go of her, and then you see the bullet hole, and all the apes are just like, their faces are like sorcery.
Sorcery, yeah. Witch!
That's the look that Proximus had in his face. Is like sorcery.
Oh hell no! Yeah, this bitch spitting fire. Oh no! That's why none of them attacked her, because it's like, damn, what is that? So, which is once again another parallel to like colonial times, where people would show up with muskets to Native Americans and they'd be shooting fire out of sticks. You know what I mean? It's really odd for them. They didn't understand it.
Yeah, I mean, it's like Proximus says at the dinner table is, humans used to be able to fly like eagles fly. They could speak across oceans.
No. Oh man! So eventually they get to a boiling point where May is like, sorry guys, I gotta do this. And so she runs over to the detonator, blows up the bridge, and the water starts flowing into the bunker, and we just have a massive fucking scale, just like chase scene pretty much. It's like, oh shit, the water is coming, and everyone runs straight into the bunker instead of running out of the bunker.
Well, to be fair, they only had one entranceway, and that's where the water was coming from.
Well, yeah, but you look at May, and I'm like, first of all, y'all are all faster than humans, correct? Okay. Like, what is going on? You know what I mean? Okay,
hey,
fair.
She outran a horse earlier.
But you're right. My bad. I forgot she was fucking Usain Bolt on crack. My apologies. Jesus Christ. So, yeah, she ran out along the side of the dam so that the water would come in, and she wasn't a part of it. She eventually got away safely. And the apes were all in the fucking bunker, so everyone needed to start running up, you know what I mean, to get away from all the water. Which, once again, I want to point out that the water would not rise that high because the land wasn't that fucking high. So it would probably get maybe to like the first or second floor of the bunker, and it would never rise again. You know what I mean? But for some reason, it went all the way to the top of the fucking mountain. I don't get it. But okay. Whatever, right? It's a movie. Como se dice, we had a close call with the mother where she almost got swept into a sewer drain because of all the water, but Noah caught her last second. Appreciate it, Noah. They all run upstairs. You know, Proximus, the right hand, the gorilla. They were all up there. They run up, and the big gorilla is chasing Noah. Noah sees the big ass gorilla, and this gives me Black Widow Hulk vibes in the first Avengers. Like, like, who is this big one? Oh my god! You know, he's fucking destroying shit, trying to get to him. Eventually, Noah outsmarts him, which is exactly how Caesar did everything. He outsmarted people if he couldn't talk them down. You know, and so, como se dice, eventually, Noah is swimming. He's swimming away from him, or he's running from him, actually. He gets into this tight corridor. The water is rising, and so Noah sneaks through a hole at the top in the ceiling that the big gorilla can't get through. So he's just kind of trapped in that little corridor. He's too big. Right, he's too big, and so eventually he drowns in the water, which was a pretty cool death. I think he deserved that.
It's just kind of... It was low-key kind of disturbing, just the way Noah was watching this man drown.
Oh, yeah! You think he was going to help him or something? He probably contemplated
No, I didn't think he was going to help him, but it was just, the fact that he was just watching him.
I bet he contemplated
it. Drowning.
I bet he contemplated it, and I was like...
Probably.
Fuck it. You know what I mean? That's the thing, though, is that you could interpret it as that. Anyway... once the big apes died, you know, Noah runs all the way to the top. He finally gets out through the vents the same way he came in, and Proximus is there along with a bunch of other apes, and Proximus tries to make it. Yeah, exactly. And eventually, Proximus wants to make an example of Noah in front of his own tribes. Like, don't do what this guy did. He's a fucking idiot. Don't do it. Yeah. Right. And eventually, Noah, who's had difficulty with birds this entire movie. He pulls out a fucking trump card. It's like, actually, you haven't seen my true power. And so he pulls out a bird, and then he pulls a fucking Morbius on us. And he pulls a bunch of birds out, and all the birds start attacking Proximus. Right?
He sang the song that his dad sang to tame the birds.
Right. So eventually he figures out how to tame the birds. He calls a bunch of birds over, and the birds attack Proximus, and the birds kill Proximus. Which...
They fly him off the edge of the cliff.
Indeed, make them fucking send them off. Which is, once again, I feel like if there was more Proximus time, then I would have enjoyed this death more. But I felt like I was robbed by the end of the movie. I wanted more Proximus.
Yeah. You were robbed to the point where, you know, he hit the water and it's just, is he still alive?
Yeah. Yeah.
We need more.
We need more. You know, exactly. It's like, I'm sure he's dead, but we need more.
I was like, you know, there were rocks down there.
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
When you listen, the thing is, we can't look at this practically, because if we looked at this practically, the water would have never gone past the second floor. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So maybe Proximus is still alive. I doubt it. I think they're going to do a big time jump, and that's it. So,
but I did just realize that both Proximus and Raka both died
by water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just a good comparison.
It really is. I mean, at the end of the day, both of the duality, what's the word? Both extremes lead to the same result, which is failure. Yeah. You know? So, fair enough. I mean, so basically Noah led Noah. The whole Noah fight at the end was basically the downfall of the king, the downfall of the false prophet, the false Caesar, that kind of thing. So overall, I enjoyed the movie. It was great. It was a great damn movie. But I feel like the third act was definitely messy. We had one last bit where May, I guess it was a little while later, May walked up on Noah, and Noah and his whole tribe were like trying to rebuild or whatever. And May comes up there and they have a conversation. Do you remember what they talked about?
Not really. I think May was just coming in to say thank you.
Something like that.
For helping, and then Noah also gave his thanks because they helped each other in a way.
Right.
But it was just a thing of Noah doesn't trust her still, and he doesn't know what to think of the whole thing. And then even May doesn't really know what to think either because she helped them, but she's also trying to get humans back on top. And it's a whole weird thing of like they appreciate one another, but they can't trust each other, and they're both on opposite ends. And so Noah just kind of has the vibe of like he just wants to be left alone with his family in the village.
Right.
And then during that conversation, the camera gets a little lower and shows that May is holding the revolver behind her back, maybe thinking she's gonna shoot Noah. But he gives her Raka's necklace, which was the symbol that Caesar, the symbol that represents Caesar, I guess would be the best way to say it.
It represents Caesar, yes.
Yeah, so he gives that to May, and she takes it and doesn't shoot him. She doesn't shoot Noah.
Well, I feel like that pullout was meant to signify. Well, you could interpret it as okay, she thought about shooting him, but I think it was more of a I don't trust the apes. I have a gun behind me because I don't fucking trust these monkeys. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is.
Yeah, and you can even see that on their faces because they're not really happy when they're saying thank you.
Very much so, yes.
Noah looks confused, conflicted. There's a lot of emotions happening with him with everything he's just been through. And then even May, you can see the conflict in her face of just, I don't trust this ape.
Yes.
He's against what I'm for, but she still came by to say thank you because they went through it together, and it was not an easy thing that they went through throughout the entire movie. So it was a nice little exchange, and I think it's the movie's way of just showing that Noah hasn't really picked a side yet. He doesn't know where he stands. He just wants to be left alone.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Noah is Noah it definitely still has his inner conflict, and he doesn't know which side to pick.
He just wants to take care of his family.
Right.
That's all he cares about right now.
Damn right. Eventually, it leads to May running back to her tribe. Turns out that she has a colony of people that are still alive. They're still intelligent enough to work electronics and shit. And eventually, even though she said that they were all killed by Proximus and his team, she went back. She found the chip in that bunker, so she gave them the chip. And it turns out that chip leads to controlling the satellites and giving them the correct coordinates to communicate with other colonies of humans. So even though Proximus didn't want the humans to get any technology back, and in fact he wanted to use that technology so he could eradicate them, they found the one piece that they really did need in order to communicate with other colonies, and then probably even a plan, a counterattack or something like that. We don't know. It's left up in the air. What it seems like is that the humans are trying to become stronger, and the apes don't. The one side of the apes don't want that to happen, while the other side of the apes are still skeptical of it all. They're scared that the humans are going to try to do this again. And now that Noah knows that they kept us in cages like before, well, that don't look good. You know what I'm saying? It don't look good.
Yeah.
So,
and just those final shots of like May looking up at the sky, like up to where like the satellite would be.
Yeah.
And then it contrasts with Noah taking his, I guess, girlfriend now to the that telescope that they found, that he found with May earlier, and just looking up, and then Noah looking at the sky. You can tell he's like he doesn't feel safe. He knows something's up, and that's basically where the movie leaves us.
Absolutely. Come on, say I concur with that, Doctor. The the parallels between those two are, first of all, immaculate. And I want to add that now it pretty much just leaves it up in the air and like, can humans and ape work together? Will apes try to eradicate the humans? Will the humans try to eradicate the apes? Will either side succeed? You know, it's crazy to think about. And I also want to add that apparently the creators or whatever are thinking about 9 editions of these films. That's a thing?
Yeah, this would be the 4th movie in the franchise. They want it to be 9 movies total. So that's including Caesar's trilogy.
Wow.
So this would be the 4th, so they want 5 more movies after this.
Hey, if it's consistent, like these last 4 have been, I'm down. Yeah. It has to be consistent.
I mean, it definitely feels like Kingdom was setting up for something a lot larger.
Absolutely. That's why they needed it to be safe. What?
Yeah, I just think that I hope that it's a story that they've thought through and planned out and processed. Because if this is setting up a future that they have no idea where it's going to go yet, that makes me kind of worried.
It concerns me. Look at Pixar.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's just, I'm hopeful because, these movies have a good track record so far. They haven't done anything yet for me to have any doubts on any potential sequel.
They haven't flopped.
Yeah, and so we'll see where it goes. It's interesting. The only thing I hope for with the next movie is that they don't play it as safe. I want to see more bold, creative decisions with the story.
Absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt, because they definitely played it safe this round. So I hope that with the sequel, they understand that they have a titan of a series, and with the power of what Kingdom was able to provide, I do believe that the sequel will still make money, and that they can take more risks because of it. So,
for sure.
At the end of the day, I was contemplating a high 7 for this film when I came out of the theater, but in talking about it now and seeing how they executed, and thinking about what they're going to be doing for sequels, I'd say I'd give this movie the lowest 8 I could possibly give a film. So 8. Mm-hmm. That's where I'm at right now. How do you feel? 8 out of 10. How do you feel?
I gave it an 8 walking out of the theater, and I'm still at an 8.
Mm-hmm.
Because, despite any critiques I have towards the movie, I like the direction it went in. I like the presentation. There's not really anything for me to dislike about the movie.
Right.
I would have done things differently, but I don't see that as
there's
criticism.
Nothing directly there's nothing directly disrespectful about the decisions being done here. The only thing is it could have been more, but they chose to make it lesser than. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
And I can tell that the directors knew what they were doing. The people who wrote this, whatever. Sure. I can tell that they knew that they could have done more, but they chose to do this instead. Maybe in favor of being safe, maybe in favor of the runtime, whatever it was. You can tell that they could have done more, and they knew they could have done more, but they did this instead.
Yeah. And I think this movie is a good example of, I always say, with sequels, studios always want to go bigger and better, more effects, more money, more budget, more of what worked the last time. But I think Kingdom really benefits from being much smaller than the previous movies.
Yes.
Being more intimate, and I think that's what a lot of studios and filmmakers don't really get, is that sequels can be a lot stronger when they go smaller. You don't always have to go bigger and better. I think a smaller scale story really benefited Kingdom because then it focused on the characters and their philosophy and their motivations, and that's really all you need to carry the story forward. Especially in a risky sequel like this, where it's just, it could go either direction. We don't know if we're going to like it or not. I think they, playing it safe was the smart route, but also taking the story and dumbing it down and making it a lot smaller than it is also worked.
Dumbing it down in quotations, but yes, indeed.
It's not a dumb story.
I do think this is also, indeed. I also think that this is very, once again, the whole comparisons and the kind of parallels between the apes and Roman history, human history. I think that's probably its strongest selling point for me. And that's crazy because I'm usually for the characters being the main focus. And even though the characters were pretty much the main focus, the themes here were loud, really loud. You can feel it. And every decision that was made in every scene, you can feel how loud the theme was that they were going for. So, some people might think of that as a positive. For this particular circumstance, some people might think of it as a negative. But in this specific circumstance, I find it as a heavy positive because it was just... Yeah. It was damn satisfying because you knew what they were doing. You understand? You knew where they were going, and they executed it perfectly. I think beautifully, not perfectly. There are some issues, but still beautifully crafted. So that's what I have.
Yeah. Based on how the movie ends, is there anything you'd want to see specifically in a sequel?
Well, like I said, initial thoughts were Proximus being built up, but I see where they're going now. It's a time jump. They're going to do a time jump, and eventually they're going to go for what I want to see is feuding ape factions. I want to see ape on ape, because we had it on a small scale here. I want to see full-scale wars like in Dawn of the Planet of the Apes and War for the Planet of the Apes. I want to see ape factions going up against other ape factions, and 5 at least. And then in 6... maybe they could have another conflict with humans. Maybe they don't even try to have a conflict with humans. Maybe the humans just try to help. Wait. We talked about this before. I think that humans will try to instigate apes to go against apes and have them kill each other rather than the humans killing the apes themselves. And I think eventually May is probably going to be the pivoting, like the turning point here where she makes a decision and she chooses apes over humans. Something along those lines. You understand? So
I think... for a sequel for me, I think where the story ends with Noah, I would be fine with him not coming back. Because all he really cares about right now is taking care of his family and rebuilding his village.
Right.
He doesn't really have too big of a stake in the conflict, in the philosophy of apes versus humans. Because even, during the whole movie with Proximus preaching and everything, all Noah really wanted was to get his family and get the fuck out. He doesn't have he's not an important character in this conflict, and I think because he achieved his goal, he got his family. I think leaving him there would be smart. It'd be nice to maybe see him, in a sequel. I'd like to see him get involved because I do like the character, but he doesn't really feel. He's not a Caesar. He's not. He's just another ape, and so I feel like we don't really need to see more of him. I would actually like to see the sequel focus more on May. But I feel like it'd be interesting having a human be the main character going forward. And I do like what you said about humans instigating ape-on-ape conflict. And I think May kind of being the center of all that would be so compelling. And so that's kind of what I would want to see, is the movie centered more around May, or maybe another human if they can write a compelling enough character.
Right. I do believe that the humans will instigate, and I do appreciate you in thinking that my idea is pretty good. I don't think it would be a good idea to stray away from Noah, though. I feel like they'll tell both stories. You understand? Where from May's perspective and from Noah, because the way they ended it was basically that, like, okay, two sides to this coin, two sides, the humans and the apes. These two sides, their stories will be told. They will clash, whether it's an instigation, whether it's they're teaming up, whatever. These are the two sides of this story, the human side and the ape side. And you're going to feel sympathy for both. And both of those characters are an extension of your emotions of those factions. As in, you're hearing all of this new information as Noah. You're basically his, what's the word? He's basically your lifeline.
He's the audience surrogate.
Right, exactly. You understand. So
we see everything through him.
It's the same thing for May. So they can't take it away from Noah because you're learning information like Noah's learning it. Same with May. You're learning information just as May's learning it. Maybe May is going to learn more about the human faction and they'll flesh out the human faction more. There'll be more side characters. You understand? That kind of thing. So I feel like maybe May, I see where you're going. I see maybe May getting more screen time in the sequel, and maybe she's more of a vocal point than Noah, but I do not think they should stray away from Noah. Absolutely not. I want to see him more developed. I want to see him running with his birds, that kind of thing. You understand? I want to see more of Noah, but I completely agree. I can agree with you that they should definitely show more of May's side.
Yeah,
So
I mean, I'm not saying they should stray away from Nora. I'm just saying I would be fine with it if they did.
Mm-hmm.
Because where his story ends, like I said, he doesn't have a stake in the conflict. He's still conflicted, and he still kind of has a side to choose, but also he just wants to protect his family. And so the thing that I don't want is for them to have a bullshit reason for him to be once again involved in the plot. You know, because that's another thing that sequels struggle with. It's like, okay, the story ended. We need to find a way to get our characters back, to where they were to get into the story. And, oftentimes the decisions are kind of dumb to bring the characters back. And I don't want that for Noah.
They have to find a way to force it. I mean, with the previous 3 movies, it was the same thing. It was Caesar in the first movie going against his depression. You know what I mean? In that event, the testing, the zoo, whatever. The people that he's constantly being poked and prodded. Eventually, he goes against it. He's forced to act. Same thing with Dawn. Eventually, it gets to the point where Coda instigates so much where everyone's clamoring for blood, and he's forced to have the war. And same thing for War for the Planet of the Apes. He gets attacked, and hitmen go straight to his kingdom. And eventually, he has to act against the humans because the humans are sending hit squads and burning down his village. And eventually, he's forced to make a move when he's put in the death camps. That's what it is. And this is the same thing for this movie, is that Noah is forced to go out and look for his companions because the village was burnt down and his father was killed. And he has to go save these people. So they're just going to find another way to force Noah into this conflict. If you don't act preemptively, then you will be acted upon and you will be forced to react.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I'm just saying I don't want that story decision to be bullshit.
Gee,
I don't want like another warring faction of apes coming in and burning down his village again. Be too redundant.
It's got to be another way.
It's
got to be another way. And I agree with you wholeheartedly. It should be another way. And I think they will. I think they have the chops to find a way that I can't even think of right now. So there you go.
Yeah. We will see.
Yes, indeed. We will see. But if it's the same creative team, we're in good hands.
Yeah, I would actually like to see Wes Ball come back as director.
Absolutely.
I know he's doing the Zelda movie and everything, but do another Planet of the Apes, please.
Do it. Do it. All right. Anything else you had for Kingdom?
No, shit was great.
Shit was great. We talked about it for like a solid hour.
That's good. That's okay. That's a whole podcast on its own.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.